Hey guys, welcome to yet another run on Jessie's event in DFFOO Global Dystopy Provisional. This run is mainly going to be an Auto Plus run, and it features a party of Beatrix, Garnet, and Firion. All three of them have ultimate weapons 5/5. With that being said, I think you can probably make do with lesser build ultimate weapons. First off, a big disclaimer, I did say mostly Auto Plus. Unfortunately, there were twice in this run that I had manual inputs. The first is I had to manually use Thunderflash Plus with Beatrix midway through the fight just to refresh her noble loyalty, because the way Auto Plus works is the AI will continuously use her LD and her EX, and by the time it gets to Thunderflash Plus, the noble loyalty buff would have worn off, and you need that buff because that's the buff that triggers Beatrix's counter. The second time I had a manual input is a little bit more optional. It depends on how you are doing on your run, and that's near the end of the fight where I manually had Beatrix use her additional ability to heal everyone just before I end the fight, and that's really only to meet the mission requirement because it does require you to defeat the stage taking less than 5000 HP damage, which is pretty tight. Beyond those two instances, everything else here is Auto Plus, and to make it easy, I've also included a timestamp in the video description on when I actually did the manual inputs, so you can click on the timestamp to skip ahead and see what I was referring to. But the manual input should be pretty straightforward. The first one, which is Thunderflash Plus, you just really need to use it on Beatrix when you are anywhere between 50 to 100% force gauge, and the noble loyalty buff that it grants should be enough to last you through the rest of the fight. And the second one is really just toggling Auto Plus off when the bosses are about to die, and then heal off with Beatrix before you kill the bosses. I decided to use this party and make do without any counter tanks at all, mainly to try to capitalize on the speed down debuff that the bosses will cast on you when they use Charge Ray. You can see right here that Garnet herself has the speed down debuff. The problem really is that Charge Ray is a single target attack, so if you're using a counter tank like Gladio or Auron, they will always cover that attack, and therefore that means that only your cover tank will get debuffed with speed down. There is a small risk involved here because I'm not using a cover tank. All three party members are still somewhat squishy, and my main form of recovery on this run is going to be Firion's traps. Anyway, I am coming up to Beatrix's turn and I'm like 60 something percent on the force gauge, so this is where I manually toggle Auto Plus off, and I will just have Beatrix use a Thunderflash Plus. This is the first of my two manual inputs on this run. Once you use Thunderflash Plus, you can just toggle Auto Plus back on. Coming back to the Charge Ray attacks that the bosses do, I suppose there is a risk involved where if they decide to use Charge Ray all on the same character, and for some reason they start their turn with 11,000 Brave, there is a small chance that that character may die. But the odds of that are pretty low. For one thing, you need all three bosses to line up on the same character, and for another thing, if the bosses use Charge Ray when they are broken, they don't actually do a lot of damage. They do like 3000, maybe 4000 damage. So even if all three hits the same character, you should be able to survive. Right here you see Garnet getting hit for 2490 damage. So the risk of dying even without a counter tank, I would say, is, I don't know, extremely low. And you have to be extremely unlucky to actually get someone KO'd here. With that being said, I am conscious that all three characters are using 5/5 ultimate weapons, and ultimate weapons do boost defensive stats as well, including HP and defense, so your mileage may vary depending on how well equipped your characters are. Beyond that, the rest of the fight is pretty straightforward. I am about to enter Beatrix force time here because I've hit 100%. As long as you can enter force time before the bosses do, the rest of the fight is more or less over. And it shouldn't be that hard. You can see that I've entered force time when the boss hasn't even hit 80%. And one thing to note, my Firion only is at force level 10. So if you do have a force level 30 Firion, then you probably hit force time even quicker than me. Oh, there is one thing I forgot to mention in the setup part of the video, and I don't really want to redo the voiceover, so apologies for that. But something that you should take note is you should put Beatrix in party slot 1. If you do so, her counter will trigger first when the bosses attack. Why is that useful? Well, here I'm using Beatrix's force time, and part of her force conditional is that when her counter goes off, you get a nice plus 20% to force gauge bonus, which then means that subsequent counters on that particular attack will benefit from the plus 20%. It's not a huge difference, but I think it does make a difference, and you might as well just put her in party slot 1 rather than party slot 2 or 3. Beyond that, there are also speed passives that I've removed from the character, and for Garnet specifically, I did remove her EX. As always, the setup will be in more detailed description in the video description. All that being said, I'm not exactly sure whether or not in this particular run is it a good idea to unequip Garnet's EX. The bad thing about Garnet's EX is that it doesn't do damage and it is an instant turn attack, so when you are in force time, her using her EX then constitutes a full waste of one force turn. On the flip side though, if she is using EX throughout the fight, what will likely happen is that she will expire her BT aura near the end of the fight when you are at high force percentages, and you get one bonus attack from Garnet then. Whether or not you get that bonus attack compensates the drawback of wasting force turns still remains to be seen, but overall I think it's probably still a better choice to just unequip her EX. The debuffs and buffs and healing that it grants, I think you don't really need it. As you can see, just from Firion's traps I remain pretty healthy. Most of the time I'm at full HP, so I don't really think Garnet's healing from her EX is needed here. Now this is the part of the fight that it gets a bit more dangerous. The bosses start doing about 6,000 to 9,000 damage in their charge race, so theoretically speaking, if they all target the same enemy and you don't get any room to heal in between, then you might be in danger of someone biting the dust. If you are really worried about taking damage here, what you can consider is to toggle auto plus off during Beatrix's turn right here and just use her Holy Knight protection and then continuing the auto plus. If you do that when your characters are greatly hurt, the HP damage mitigation from Holy Knight's protection will buy you enough time to top up your health from Firion's traps. Also, when the bosses are pretty low, so say below 20% HP or so, it's probably a better idea to just pop Brother Summon then and finish off the bosses inside summon mode. That way you're not going to take any HP damage, and you will ensure that you will finish the fight meeting the HP mission requirement. This is the second out of the 2 times that I switched Auto Plus off and had manual input. Unfortunately, I had to do it here because the fight is about to end and Garnet is severely hurt, so using one additional ability helps to top up my health before I end the fight. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, I hope the video has been helpful, and if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment and subscribe. Really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Shiryu fight. Bye!